Okay, so welcome you guys. It's so nice to see you. My name, like I said, is Mrs. Anderson, and we're going to be doing some different strategies this week to learn about ratios and percents. So we're going to be doing a mini unit on ratio and percents. You will have a little quiz on it next Wednesday. Okay, so some things for you to be aware of. If you look up above, you'll notice that there are some college team names. Okay. So like for instance, these four would be UW, this four would be Eastern, so forth. You four over here, you guys are going to be Central. Okay, so you four over here. So what I'm going to be using these teams for is one, you're going to be getting team points throughout this unit. So over here, there's this yellow paper, and right here, I'm going to be awarding team points for your team, and you'll get team points based off of being respectful, making good decisions, solving problems. You'll also get team points for your participation. Okay? Other thing you need to know is with your teams, to hold you all accountable, I'm going to be calling out with numbered spoons. Okay? So at your teams, you need to number off 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you do not have 4 people at your team, you need to solve that problem, meaning someone's probably going to have 2 numbers. Okay, so right now, number off 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you are a 1, raise your hand. All the ones, raise your hand so I can see you. There's a 1 in the back. Raise your hand if you are a 1. There's a 1 in the back. Okay, if you're a 2, raise your hand.
That would be a 2.
Okay, if you're a 3, raise your hand.
That's me.
Some, if you're a 4, raise your hand.
Julie raised her hand.
Awesome. Okay, well done, you guys. So what's going to happen is when I give you guys heads together or practice, you guys can talk to your neighbors, and then I'm going to call, like, let's say UW, and then I'll pull a random spoon, and if I pull number 4, who's number 4? She will answer for her team. So that means everyone has to know so they can speak for their team. Does anyone have questions about that?
No thanks.
What is that? It's a camera.
Oh, the thing in the center is called a swivel. It is recording me for professional development purposes.
Wait, are you going to be like a principal and like...
No, I teach other teachers.
Oh, that's why.
Wait, you're teaching teachers?
I am.
They can like learn off.
Okay, but I've also been a math teacher for 14 years, so math is my subject. Okay, so we're going to move on now. So, like I said, we're going to be doing a unit on ratios and percents. If you'll notice around the room, there are yellow pieces of paper with pictures on them and then white paper underneath. These are called observation charts. What's going to happen is with a partner, one other person, you and your partner are going to take your pencil. Can I borrow your pencil? So let's say these two are partners. You're going to take your pencil, and you're each going to take turns writing. So you're going to go to a blank chart, so where people aren't at. You're going to look at the picture, kind of see what's going on, and you're going to do one of 3 things. Okay, you only have to write one thing. So these are your 3 choices. As soon as Okay, you can either write a prediction, you can either write an observation, or you can write a question. You don't have to do all 3. You just pick one of those 3 for each chart that you go to. So like a prediction, like what do you predict is happening in those pictures? Observation, what are you observing happening in those pictures? Or ask a question, like what do you have a question about with those pictures? Okay. You need to at least see 4 charts, but you get 10 minutes. And first period, they were able to see more than 4 charts. So after you've seen your 4 charts, go on and do some more charts. Okay? The charts where there's yellow piece of paper and white paper underneath. So if you look around, they're all around the room. Mrs. Stewart and I are going to be walking around and monitoring your progress. So everyone does need to stay on task. Okay? When you go, with you and your partner, you need to take turns switching pencils. So if you see 4 charts, how many times should you be writing?
Twice.
At least twice. And then after you've done your 4 charts, what do you need to do?
Do more.
Do more, yes. Do you have a question?
Do we get to pick our own person, or do we have to?
No, you get to pick your own person. Yes. Okay?
Wait, so we can pick out of this whole class?
Yes.
I'm gonna be partners.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
He has a pencil.
Well, you need 1 pencil between you and your partner. So maybe your partner will have a pencil.
Okay, and guys, I'm already seeing a lot of disrespect here. Hey, Tanner.
Turn around.
Right? So she is a guest in my room. That is a big deal. So I expect you to treat her with even more respect than you treat me with. Okay? I'm already writing down some names. If I give you 3 tallies, it's going to be detention. Come on, you guys know how to behave in my room, okay? Okay, thank you. So I'm going to be watching as you're walking around.
So again, when you go to one of the pictures, look at it, make a prediction about the pictures, make an observation about the pictures, or ask a question about the pictures. You'll have to do one of those 3 things at the pictures. If you have any other questions, come see me or Mrs. Stewart. So go ahead and get a partner and go to an empty chart. You have 10 minutes.
Go. Ian, you're a Tanner? What, Billy? Devin. Huh?
So,
I'm with
Oh, 2. Alright. 2. Divide up.
That's 2?
He's already with Tanner.
Hey, Ian, are you with Tanner?
No. Does anyone not have a partner? Okay, she is not a partner. Go be with her. Nope, go be with a partner. Okay, do you have a partner?
No.
Okay, anyone else not have a partner? No, you two need to work together.
right, Cranberry.
Okay, you can join another group. You can have a group of 3, okay? You don't need your paper. Okay, so look at your charts. Okay?
It's so hard.
Look at it. You can look at it, and you can make a prediction about what you're seeing. You can make an observation.
I'll make a prediction.
How does that follow you?
Question. It's because of my roommate. So, what are you guys going to put here?
You write first.
I don't want to write first.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm responsible.
Look at the pictures.
Funny joke.
Look at the pictures. Help them out.
Yeah, help me out.
Fine.
Here, I'll open that.
It's going by quarters. Just kidding.
Yeah, that. It is going by quarters.
Okay. And then
Is that right?
That's an observation. Okay, go to another one.
It's not.
Okay, what did you guys write here? What are you guys going to write? You need to write a question, make an observation, or make a prediction. What are you guys going to write about that chart?
Pie charts.
What about the pie chart?
Oh, that's your pie.
Okay, make an observation about the pie chart.
You can do an option. We already have They have numbers?
Numbers? What kind of numbers? What numbers do you see? What kind of numbers?
Percentage numbers.
Okay.
And I have to
Okay, what are you guys going to say? Do you have a prediction, a question, or an observation? Any of those 3?
Does it like sensor heat or something? Or is it like that thing that holds it? That's kind of cool. I want one of those.
Okay, go to another chart. Okay, so guys, over here, you two are over here. Do you have a prediction, a question, or an observation? What do you think? So I know you guys stared at it for a while, so you should have something to say. Do you have a prediction for your partner? Or an observation? What do you guys notice? Or do you have a question about it?
I think it's good we missed this one.
Why use a fee-based porn system?
Okay, go ahead and write that. Yeah, go ahead and write that.
I know. Third grade. I got does your partner?
No, you take turns writing. So like, she wrote at this one, next part you go to, you'll write it.
I wrote at this one.
Oh, you don't each have to write something. You guys are just taking turns with the pencil. So the next picture you can write something, okay? Okay.
I don't want to share my pencil.
Do you have your pencil though? Okay, go ahead. Okay, what chart are you guys going to?
What? We did all of them. I wrote
You
black.
guys writing. You did?
Yeah.
Are you doing a question, observation, or prediction?
Probably an observation.
Okay. What do you observe?
That there's a grid with numbers on it.
What kind of numbers?
Fractions, percent, and decimals.
Okay, go ahead and write that. Did you guys already write something? Yep. Okay, go to a different chart then. Okay, keep going. You're doing great. Where's your partner?
She's doing one.
Oh no, you gotta stay together, okay?
Why is it following us?
It's following me.
Okay. What is this called? I didn't know. We need to kick that. This is why is everyone sitting on my back? I got this at 8.
Okay, what chart are you guys going to?
I just finished my slide.
Is she your partner?
Yeah.
Okay.
My partner.
Okay. Okay, go to a different chart. Good job. What about that? What does that say?
Relations.
Okay, what about relations? What are you observing about the relations?
Relatos.
I don't know.
Okay, so what are you observing about relations? What do you see happening in the picture?
Relationships.
Okay, make an observation then. Okay. Make an observation about the relations.
Dice symbol. Put dice symbol.
We didn't do that. They're measuring shadow. The shadow is bigger than the actual shadow. Oh god. Oh my gosh. She has a thing.
What are they doing? They're comparing relations. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, good.
To like teaching Stop it, Zay. Zay, is this yours?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hey, go to one more chart, you guys. Go to one more chart. Go to one more chart.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah? Wait, did you actually put it
Go to one more chart.
You have it down there.
Wait, take it out. Wait, actually.
No, you want it. I already wrote 2. You only wrote 2.
Oh my god.
Go around it. It's not. Go around it.
Why was that one that's really hard?
No, I want to go to McDonald's. Where I'm
Wait, can I take nothing?
There's only a few seconds.
I
Second shot of printing something.
Hey, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go back to your seat.
I like chocolate.
We're in the vlog. Hey,
Hey, I see you. Dove is sitting respectfully. They get a point.
Oh, darn it. I want to.
I also saw the A and I group back there, the Art Institute. They were sitting quietly, respectfully. Okay, so here's a chance to earn some team points. Okay, by raising your hands, would anyone like to volunteer about a prediction that they made at one of the charts? Yes.
Okay. Well, for this one, me and my partner wrote that like it's the Gotta go read what I said. It's a pie chart, and they have numbers and percentages.
Is that a prediction or an observation?
That's an observation.
Observation. Okay, so Team Western gets 5 points. The pie chart had numbers and percents on it. Okay. Yes.
There's a lot of on the right.
Okay.
That they're measuring angles.
Measuring angles. You're predicting that they're measuring angles. Okay. And you guys are, is it Eastern? Okay.
That's what they Eastern.
Awesome. Okay. Yes.
I think it's like the one over there. The decimals were kind of in fractions. The decimals were converting in fractions.
Is that an observation, prediction, or question?
Observation.
Observation. Okay, 5 more points for Western. Did anyone do a question? Yes.
On that one over there with all the taxes, why are there taxes?
Why are there taxes? That would be a good question. Nice. Yes. Do you have a prediction, observation, or question that you did?
I was gonna say the same one my partner said over there for the pie chart, but
Okay, can you tell me something different then?
on the
Okay, just a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, when someone is speaking, we need to be listening and keeping our mouths quiet to be respectful. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Tell me about one that you were going to say.
On this one, the ratio
Okay.
problem,
Yep.
all of the ratios are different.
All the ratios are different. Okay, awesome. And you guys are loots. Okay, we're going to do one more over here.
For that one, why a fee-based homework system?
Why a free-based homework system? Was that one of the pie charts?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so was that an observation, prediction, or question?
Question.
Question. Okay, so you guys are central. Okay, where did central go? There it goes. Okay, awesome. So, what you probably noticed were the observation charts were about percents, ratios, and proportions. That's what our unit is going to be about. So today we're going to focus on ratios. Okay? So that is going to be our word for the day. And we're going to use that for our call and response. So ratios. Okay, so let's say the word together. Let's say it really loud. Ratio.
ratio.
Okay, say it to the ceiling. Ratio.
Ratio.
Okay, say it really loud.
Ratio.
Okay, say it to your elbow.
Ratio.
Okay, say it to the floor. Ratio. And say it in deep voice. Okay. How many people have heard this word before? Raise your hand if you've heard this word before. Okay, about 29. Okay, has anyone not heard the word ratio before? Raise your hand.
What? No, you have.
Have you heard the word ratio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot.
Not heard, love, zero. Okay, now we're going to do a heads together, and I'm going to use number spoons to call on people. I want you at your table groups discuss a prediction for the definition of ratio. So discuss at your table groups. I'm going to call a numbered spoon.
Just the ratio is enough.
Prediction of the definition.
Ratio is enough.
What do you think this word means? So talk to your groups.
He's right. Get out of
Okay, I know how to say it. Please call number 3 from me.
I can call him comparing the two.
Yeah, but I already know what it is.
Discuss.
Yeah, we're done.
And I can get my 2 points.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so let's do Arden's 2 to Seattle. Okay, number 4. Who's number 4?
No one, girl.
No.
You got it.
They solved their problem. They know one of them's number 4. Who's number 4?
There should be 2. No. Sorry, I had to let it out. And we're having trouble.
Okay, solve that problem. Do it quickly. Who's number 4 to share out? Comparing 2 numbers. Okay. Okay, so compare 2 numbers. Okay. How about Pierce College? Number 1. Who's number 1 for Pierce? Okay, what did you guys say?
It's like a fraction or decimal.
Fraction or decimal? Okay, let's hear from one more group. How about base? Number 1.
You got it, Quinnsbury.
What did you guys say?
We said something about like more than.
More than? Okay. Okay, awesome. So, here is our definition that we're going to be using today. A ratio is a number relationship between 2 things. Okay, so we're going to do an action with it to kind of help us remember the word and the definition. So, in your table groups, think of an action that we could, like a hand gesture or something, that we could use when we say a number relationship between 2 things. So heads together, discussing your groups, go. Like a gesture, a movement that represents a number relationship between 2 things.
But I don't feel like it's solid.
2 things.
No, every time you say it over.
Wait, what?
It's like you're doing
I don't know. Honestly, a number relationship between 2 things.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, which team thinks they have the best one? Okay, UW? Here, I'll give you points for if you'll share. Do you guys have one? Okay, so UW, do you want share what your a relationship between 2 things? What was your hand gesture?
So, a number relationship between 2 things.
So show me one more time.
A number relationship between 2 things.
Okay. Who else had one? Okay, yes, Western. What did you guys decide?
A number relationship between 2 things.
Okay, so I see a lot for relationship doing this and 2 things. So do we want to use that? Just say a number relationship between 2 things. Number relationship between 2 things.
Should be like
2 things. Okay, so let's try this out. So for the call and response, when I say the word ratio, you're going to respond with ratio. A number relationship between 2 things. Ratio. Okay, so let's try it together. Ratio. Ratio. A number relationship between two things. Ratio. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay? Let's do it again. Ratio. Ratio. A number relationship between two things. Ratio. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's do it really quietly. Let's whisper it, okay? Ratio. Ratio. A number relationship between two things. Ratio. Good job. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're going to just do a few examples of ratio, and then you're going to try it on your own. Okay? So, I'm going to do what's called a pictorial for notes. While I am doing notes up here, if you would like to kind of fill in some of your paper notes that Miss Stewart provided with you, you can. You don't have to, though. The idea is that you're paying attention to what I'm writing up here, because I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'm going to need you to participate. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers. Can I have 2 volunteers, please? Raise their hand.
Please.
Okay, we'll have 1, 2. You 2 over there. Okay, you 2 are going to be scouts. Okay? What a scout is you're going to, while I am teaching, you're also going to be paying attention because you have to know it too, but you're going to be observing your classmates and looking for someone who's either being respectful, making good decisions, or solving problems. And at the end of the notes, I'm going to ask you to name one person and say one of those 3 things that they demonstrated and why. Okay?
Do we just walk around the room?
No, so you're just going to sit quietly and watch the class and me, because you still have to know the stuff as well. Okay, so ratio. Ratio. A number relationship between two things. Ratio. Okay, so that's what we're talking about is ratio. Okay, there are 2 types of ratios. One is a part to part. And we're going to do this with some pictures. So I'm going to draw some smiley faces. I'm going to draw some frowny faces. And if you want to fill in your notes as I'm doing this, you can. Or at the bottom of your notes if you'd like to put that in there. So part to part is where you name how many smiley faces there are to how many sad faces there are. So how many smiley faces do you see? Yes.
3.
3 smiles. So we have 3 smiles to how many frowny faces do you see? Yes.
4.
4. Nice. Okay. So I noticed that some of you asked on your observation charts, what does that colon mean? That colon basically means the word 2. We're saying 3 smiles, 2 for frowny. We're comparing the 2 things, just like our definition says. We're comparing 2 things. Now we can also write it with also as a fraction. So we could have 3 smiles to 4 frowny faces. So we'd have 3/4. So you can write it as 3 to 4 or 3 to 4. So you can write it either way. So that's part to part. The other one is called part to whole. Okay? So here we're going to compare one of the parts to the whole thing. So if we were doing smiley faces, how many smiley faces did we say total?
3.
Yeah? So we had 3 smiley faces, 2. So for that 2, I'm putting a colon. How many do I have all together? Yes.
7.
7. We have 7 total. So the whole is the total amount. Now that's just with the smiley faces. What else could we have done? Yes, sir.
The sad faces, 2 total.
Yeah, how many sad faces do we have?
4.
Yeah, we have 4 sad to 7 total, right?
Right.
So for the part to whole, we could have 2 different answers. Because it depends on what we're talking about. Are we just talking about smileys or are we talking about frownies? So I could say 3 smileys to 7 total or 4 frownies to 7 total. And what's another way that I could write it? Does anyone remember what I said was another way besides with the colon? A fraction, yes. So we have 3 smiley to 7 total. Or we have 4 frowny to 7 total. So that would be 4 sevenths and 3 sevenths. So those are the 2 different ways that we can write ratios. So we're going to do an example, and then I'm going to have you guys try one on your own. Yes, ma'am.
Can you write ratios as decimal?
You can have decimal ratios. We're not going to worry about that today. Yes. Okay, so here is an example. Okay, would someone raise their hand? Because I would like to have a shape. Someone think of a shape. Yes?
Triangle.
Triangle. Okay. Someone raised their hand. I'd like another shape. Yes? Heart? Okay.
That is the thing that is living in your body.
Okay, so we have triangles and hearts.
Square.
Oh, I just needed those 2. I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so for our example, we're going to do a part to part first. Okay, so how many triangles do I have? Yes.
2.
2 triangles. So I have 2 triangles. And I'm going to put a little colon there. And how many hearts do I have? Yes. 4. 4 hearts. Okay. How else could I write this? Besides with the colon. Yes. The fraction. So I could have this as 2 triangle to 4 heart. Now, this fraction looks a little funny to me as a math teacher. What does Mrs. Stewart have you guys do with fractions? Yeah. Reduce them. Can we reduce 2/4?
Yeah. 1/2.
1/2. So if you can, please remember to reduce. Okay? So we're going to reduce this to 1/2. Now, if we reduce that to 1/2, that means you can also do it to the colon as well. So up here, this could be 1 to 2. It's a little bit easier to see it with the fraction, but you can do it with the colon as well. Okay, so there's our part to part. Let's do the last one, part to whole. And I know this might be a little hard to see. I will raise it up. Okay, so you guys can see it. Okay, so we need to decide the part. We have 2 to choose from. We have triangles or hearts. Which one do you want to do?
Triangle.
Triangles. Okay, how many triangles do we have again? 4. How many triangles? 2. We have 2 triangles. So 2 triangles to how many total altogether?
6.
6. We have 6 total. Because this is comparing to the whole. Okay, so we can also write that as 2 triangles to 6 total. Does that reduce? What? Could someone raise their hand and tell me what 2 6 reduces to? Yes. 1/3. Thank you. You are awesome. So we can have this as 1/3. So that means this can be 1 to 3. Okay, is there another part to whole that we haven't discussed yet that we can do? Yes.
4 to 6.
For what?
4 hearts to 6.
Yeah, we can do 4 hearts to 6 total.
Wait, is this a part to part? Oh,
This is the part to whole. Yep. Because we can do it with triangles. We can also do it with hearts. So part to whole will have two possible answers. And we can write that as a fraction, 4 to 6. Okay, what does 4/6 reduce to? Yes?
3. 2/3.
Yep, good job. Nice. 2/3. Here, I'm going to put a heart here and say total. Okay, so remember, part to part is just comparing the two parts. So 2 triangles to 4 hearts. Part to whole is where you take one of the parts. So let's say you focus on the triangles. Say 2 triangles to 6 total. Or you can focus on the hearts and say 4 hearts to 6 total. Anyone have a question about the two types of ratios or how to write them? And what do you have to remember to do when you look at the fractions? Reduce, yeah. I'm going to bubble this so we can make sure we remember this. Okay, my 2 scouts. Did you see someone either being respectful, making a good decision, or solving their problems?
I saw Yoseline because she was
Can you raise your hand for me? Who's this? Okay, awesome.
Because she was always raising her hand and she was always focusing and writing stuff down.
So which of the 3 was she being?
Respectful.
Respectful. Awesome. So Western, you guys get some points. Nice. I'm going to give you 10 points for that. Hey, who did you see?
I saw Sully.
Raise your hands. Okay. What was he doing?
He's being respectful.
How is he being respectful? You got to tell me how.
He usually is a little wild, so
He did sit still through the whole pictorial, didn't he? He did. Okay, Eastern is 10 points. Nice. Don't worry, we're going to do more Scout Awards this week, so we'll get lots of points. Okay, this is what I want you to do now. With your packets, and using this as a reference, once you turn your page, we're not going to do example 1. I want you to go to example 2. So just turn your page. Okay? Example 2 is where you get to create your own ratio. You're going to draw your own picture, and you're going to write an example of, with your picture, a part to part. And you're going to write a part to whole with your picture. So you get to choose and create your own picture. Now here's the catch. I am going to be using number spoons, and I'm going to hear from each group. So everyone has to be on task and ready to share. When you finish, if you want to compare with a neighbor, I would recommend doing that. So again, you're doing example 2. You're going to draw your own picture. And you're going to write what the part to part is. Don't forget to reduce if you need to reduce. And you're going to write the part to whole for your picture. Anyone have a question? Okay, go ahead and try that. Work on that. I'm going to come around. If you have questions, please raise your hand. You get to draw your own picture.
My picture just be this.
No, you can't use the picture that's up there. You got to create your own picture. And you got to use your own numbers. Has to be different numbers than what I've done. Create your own picture.
Is it okay if the bigger number is on top of you? Or does it
Yeah.
work? So like
okay.
this?
Yes. Nice. I like it. So you're creating. So draw your own picture.
I didn't reduce it because I don't have to.
No, you don't
I
have
got
to.
the same numbers, 1, 2.
Oh, that's okay. But you have different picture than me.
Yeah.
So that's okay. You're good. And now do the part to whole.
5 minus 4, so I'm thinking about
Did I do this right? We have to do the bracket version.
No, you can either do the colon or the fraction. You can do the colon or the fraction.
part the whole.
Okay, draw your picture.
What?
Draw your own picture and then write your answers. Draw your picture. I might be calling on your number. Remember, every group is sharing.
Can I put an oof on there? You have 9 oofs. And you have
Draw pictures. Pick 2 shapes. Pick 2 shapes.
You have 9 oofs and you have 3 wasted.
So there's 2. Do we have to draw or just do 15?
Exactly. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, write the numbers. Remember, write the numbers.
Oh.
Write the numbers. Okay, you need to be drawing a picture. Okay. So pick two shapes, draw the picture, and then write the part to part and the part to whole. No, give me something else. But you need to draw something. Okay. You might be called upon.
I did a 3 dogs to 1 cat.
Okay, now that's fine. So now you can use that again and do part to whole. So what would be the part to whole?
Kind of confusing. My part's a little confusing.
Okay, so pick one of the parts. Do you want dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay, so put 3 dogs and what's the whole?
3 dogs and the whole 4 because.
Nice.
What if I do when I finish?
Okay, then just wait for a minute. You can compare with the neighbor when you finish. We got ours done. Okay, don't forget, those are beautiful pictures. And then just write the numbers for your part to whole and part to part.
Got it.
Guys are good. When you finish, you can compare with the neighbor because we are going to share out. Does someone think they have a really good one while we're waiting? Do you? Okay. You want to bring your paper up and draw it right here? Just draw your picture and write the part to part and part to whole. Draw your picture and then just write those numbers, okay?
I'm kind of confused.
Okay, so...
These are ovals, by the way.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Okay, so now that you have your picture, you have how many rectangles?
5.
So 5 rectangles to what?
5 are 2.
And what's the other part? So how many ovals?
3.
Okay, so write 5 to 3.
5.
Okay, now pick just one of those parts. You can either pick ovals or rectangles.
Ovals.
Okay, so how many ovals?
3.
And how many total? 8. Okay, so write 38. Yep.
Right where
Yeah, just the numbers. So just write those.
Wait, is that all?
Yep, that's it. Yeah. You're making it harder than it was. Okay? Did you guys compare?
Oh, no.
Hey, by show of hands, like 3, 2, or 1, or 0 minutes, how many more minutes do you need? Okay, we'll just give 1 minute to finish up because we are going to have one person from each group share. You don't know if it's going to be you.
What is it?
Can I draw mine?
Oh, we only have time for one person. You did a good job. It was good. Nope, that's it. That's beautiful. Awesome. Cool. I like it. Good job. Okay, so up here on the board, we had an example. We have 6 colored circles and 5 not colored circles. So the part was 6 to 5. And for the whole, she chose to do 6 colored circles to the total amount of 11. Yes, I'm going to get 2 points for doing that. So you done.
Wait, do we get like a prize at the end of the day? Or?
At the end of the unit. Unit. So we're going to be collecting points the whole unit. Okay, so we're going to hear from each of the groups, okay? Okay, so starting over here at Central, number 1. Who's number 1? Okay, so share your part to part. What was your part to part?
5 copies of Overwatch, 1 copy of Fortnite.
So 5, I didn't hear the first one. 5 to what? 5?
Overwatch copies.
I cannot say that. And then 4 to Fortnite?
Yes.
Nice. Fortnite? Awesome. Hey, Lutz, who's number 1 here?
I am.
Okay, tell me your part to part.
I put 6
Everyone,
circles.
wait just a minute. We need to be respectful. Okay, go
I
ahead.
put 6 circles and 8 squares.
6 circles to 8 squares?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, how about, who's number 1 over here? Okay, share your part to whole.
Mine was 2 squares and 8 total.
2 squares and 8 total. Awesome. Western, who was our number 1? Okay, do part to whole for me. 4 hearts and 7 total?
Yeah.
Nice. Who's the number 1 over here? Okay, do a part to whole as well.
4 squares to 8 total.
4 squares to 8 total. Nice. Okay, how about Bates? Who is number 1? Okay, do a part to part for me. Tell me what your parts to part.
3 to 4 and 3 over 4.
And what were your shapes? 3 what?
3 squares and 4 circles.
4 circles. Awesome. Okay, so Eastern, who's your number 1? Okay, tell me your part to part.
1 triangle to 2 squares.
1 triangle to 2 squares. Nice. Okay, and then our last group over here. Who's our number 1 here? Okay, what was your part to part?
3 dogs to 1 cat.
3 dogs to 1 cat. Okay, I have a question. By just raising your hand, did anyone have to reduce their fraction or reduce theirs? Okay, can you tell me what the original was and what it reduced to?
6 to 8 and then reduce it to 3.
3 to 4.
6 to 8 and reduced to 3/4. Awesome. Hey, you guys did a fabulous job. I'm going to give all the teams 3 points because we were all so good there. Everyone did stuff. We got, the only one that we don't have is the Cougs. Okay. Okay, so we will continue to do team points throughout the week. I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Stewart so she can explain your practice for this. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow because we're going to learn more about percents.
Yeah. Homework.
Okay.